Hey everybody, welcome back to Trinity Dairy. Don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you're interested in any of our merch, we got a merch store. There's a link down below in the description for that. Today is March 3rd, 2023. The sun is shining. It's I think about 31 degrees right now, midday. It's just a beautiful day out. We're talking some snow coming again this weekend, but it sounds like fairly warm temperatures, so that'll be a nice break from the cold snap we've had. And I can't complain too much about the temperatures this winter, though. It overall has been a pretty warm winter for us. So a lot of snow, but it's winter, I guess. So what are you going to do? That kind of comes with it. But little project we're working on today here in the barn. Like I said, not a big thing, but a really important thing. So I'll show you what we're doing in here. All right, we're down here at the back end of the barn. This is where the cows go outside when I let them out. And there's a plate of steel here so they can cross the gutter. And, well, this plate used to go all the way over. It was quite a bit bigger. Over time, it's gotten thin and it's been kind of cut off and stuff. But anyway, what's happening now is it used to originally, it went all the way across over to there, to the other cement. Because we didn't have grates in the barn. Now that I got the grates, in order for that grate to fit there, I cut the steel down. But anyway, it's getting thin right here, and it's starting to bend down. So when the cows go out, if they step on that, they get their foot in there, and it's not a good situation. You don't want them cutting up their legs and stuff. So I'm gonna go fish out. I got a piece of steel that I found that we had here. I'm gonna get that pulled out. It's a pretty big sheet, so I'm just gonna cut off, measure what I need here, and cut that off. And see if we can get that put in here, so it makes it safer for the cows. And I'm also gonna extend it back out so it covers this curve, because this stall, if you have a cow that's calving in that stall, well, you can't have one there, because if she would calf, it would be right in the gutter there, so you don't want that either. So I'm gonna make it back full length, kind of like it was before. So we're gonna get the skid steer. I'm gonna take the old skid steer, because the newer one, I've got the tire, had a flat tire, so I got that pulled off right now. But we're gonna take the cordless grinder over there. I'm gonna have to try to cut a little hole in that steel so I can hook a chain in it, because it's too big for me to try to lift. I tried yesterday with the bale forks on the newer machine, but wouldn't balance on there. It was too heavy and stuff, so I think I'm gonna have to try to just hook a chain on and drag it out. So we'll go over and see how that goes. All right, so here's our piece of steel here. It's a pretty big sheet of steel. That's kind of a corner cut out of it here, but some of it's bent up, but I think there's enough here to make a good plate for what we need. And I don't know, it's thicker steel than I would need just for cattle traffic, but I do bring the skid loader back in there to push in bedding and stuff, so want something a little bit heavier for driving that in there too. So I'm going to see if I can cut a hole in it someplace here just to hook my chain, and then we'll see if we can drag it up in the yard. There we go. Should have done that in the first place. All right. Now we can see if that old Gale will pull this out of here and get it up in the yard, and then I'm gonna cut it with the torch once I get it up there. It's way too thick to try cutting it with a grinder, so we'll get it up in the yard and get the torch fired up if we can get it out of here.
oatmeal for breakfast. So now I take the leftover oatmeal and I use it to make a leftover oatmeal bread. And the kids and Alan absolutely love it. It's super good, super easy to make. So I have my yeast, warm water, honey, a little bit of sugar to help that yeast go, oatmeal, let the yeast do its thing in a little dish with the water and sugar, then mixed it up with the oatmeal. Now we'll add our flour.
I got put some pie in there.
Try that.
I need to try it.
Starting to look good.
If you work in IT, you need a Terra, the all-in-one IT platform to manage your entire IT operation. Made by humans for
Here.
Sprinkle it in. Good job.
That's good.
All right, we'll see.
Are you helping mommy?
All right. We're gonna need some flour on here. Yeah, we need flour on there. Okay, I need some flour.
That's right.
This might take a while.
Well, here it is. I'm gonna let it melt off some. It's got a bunch of pine needles and stuff frozen on it yet. And this is actually, I believe it's 2 pieces of steel that were welded together, so there is a seam there. This side over here is pretty straight. It does have one bad spot here I might have to trim off, but I think I can get a piece out of there. So I got to get my measurements of what I need, get this cleaned off, and then we'll get it torched off. All right, we got the torch out. We're cutting some steel. I'm cutting this edge off just because it had a spot here that was kind of thin for some reason, and it's a little jagged. So I'm going to cut this off first, and then we'll go over and I'll cut off as wide as we need. I need it 30 inches wide. Now I needed it about 88 inches long to get it where I wanted it, but this section here, which is this pretty straight section, I can't really take anything out of there because it's all bent up. So this is only, I think, 82.5 or something. So that's what we're going to go with. That little bit short shouldn't make any difference. If it is going to be a problem, I'll just have to weld on a little piece to make it longer, but I think it'll be all right. So I just want to make sure there's not enough gap where a cow could get their foot stuck in the other side of it, but I don't think there will be. I think it's only going to be maybe an inch and a half a gap. So we're going to cut the rest of this edge off, and then I'll rip it down and we'll see if we can get it in the barn. It does have a little bit of a bow in it. It's kind of hard to tell on the camera, but I'm hoping once I get it cut off of the main piece that we can kind of get that to straighten out a little bit. But it doesn't have to be perfect. I'll probably take the grinder and clean up the edges a little, just get the slag off of it. But we'll get it in there and see how it lays on the floor. I did let the cows out, so it'll be easier for me to work in there. I just kind of put something over that hole for now so they didn't get stuck in there. But so I'm going to cut this off. I got this chunk of solid steel that I've just kind of been marking. This steel is kind of a diamond plate on it, so I can kind of follow a line of them with that steel chunk of rod I got there. So I'm going to move that down. It wasn't long enough for the whole piece. And I'll cut the rest of this edge off. Well, that edge didn't turn out too bad. I got to clean up a little bit of slag on it, but we got it pretty straight. So I'm going to measure out, get set up, and come and cut the rest of that off. And then we'll see how it goes in there.
And there's the oatmeal bread. Ignore the mess of my kitchen right now, but I'm in the middle of doing a birthday cake for Alan's aunt. So right now I'm just doing the buttercream roses. Okay, so here's a buttercream rose. I am by no means even close to being an expert.
It looks delicious. The cake does. It's really pretty.
And
Oh no!
starting to slide off my flower nail here.
Uh-oh.
There's a buttercream rose.
It's pretty good.
Well, there it is. There's our chunk of steel. You can see right here, it had a curve in it. It was bent up a little bit. So I got it up on a chunk of railroad track there, and I took the skid steer and I've kind of been driving on it, trying to flatten it out so it sits flat on there. I think I've got it pretty close now. I might hit it a couple more times and get it in there and see how it lays on the walk, because we don't want to have a corner sticking up, or else we aren't really any further ahead than we were before. But I think it's pretty close now, so I'm going to do that a couple more times and we'll see how it fits in there. I think that's pretty good. I got to try to get it in the barn. It's pretty heavy, so it's going to take me a little bit to get it in there, and we'll see how it sits once we get it on the floor.
Here's the cake all finished. Got the buttercream roses done, added a few little swirls here and there to make it a little extra fancy. So it's for a pretty special birthday, and I hope she likes it.
Well, there it is. We got it in place. I didn't get any video of carrying it in here. I couldn't carry it with the skid steer. I couldn't get it to fit in the bucket and still be able to drive in here. Luckily, my dad showed up and we carried it in here, so that worked pretty well. This corner is going to give me a little trouble, I think. It did get still a little bit bent up, but it's a lot better than how the old one was. So if that winds up giving that cow trouble when she's leaving the stall, I'll pull it out and get it straightened. I'll probably do it anyway, either way, but I don't have time today to do it because we got to get the cows in for milking. So, but I figured I'd show you that. And then here, see, I wanted this to go all the way over to this other grate, but this piece wasn't quite long enough to do that. But I think that'll be okay. There's a little bit of a gap here, but I don't think that's going to hurt anything. So anyway, got that project done. We're going to get the cows in now. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.